Okay, so for today we are going to continue with the permutation. All right, so from the previous video we actually skipped one example that we are going to discuss it maybe at the end of the permutation part. All right, so we will continue with some techniques that we need to know for the permutation first. Okay, so in previous video we learned some certain restrictions, right? What is the correct method for you to use in a certain restriction given? Okay, so for today we are going to continue with it. So this one is about techniques also. All right. So sometimes when you want to arrange something, right, such as number or maybe such as arrange letters and so on, and then some they will tell you that okay the numbers can be repeated, and then some will tell you that the numbers cannot be repeated. So as an example, if let's say you are having 10 numbers, and then from the 10 numbers you want to arrange only 5 of them. All right, then generally you have to use this technique here. All right, and then usually in the question also when you're having 10 numbers and then they want to arrange maybe 5 of them, they will tell you whether the repetition are allowed or not, or maybe they will tell you also like what are the restrictions that you need to know. Okay, all right, so let's have a look for the example here. Okay, so you can see that how many 5-digit odd numbers can be made with all these digits 2, 3, 6, 7, 8. So usually when they want us to arrange number, especially sometimes for letters, I will also use the method here, but most of the time it is related to numbers. Okay, so you want to arrange 5-digit odd numbers. You're having 5 numbers here, so you're having 5 digits. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so for all the questions that related to number, usually I will try to do it like that. So I will list out all the 5 digits here first, all the 5 spaces here. Okay, so when you want to calculate the permutation, you have to use some common sense also. And after that, you try to fulfill the restrictions that they give you first. So as an example, like this one, 5 digit is one of the restriction. Okay, so that's why I write out already that 5 digit here. So when they will ask for 5 digit, you also need to know that first digit cannot start from 0 because if let's say the first digit is 0, that means the number that you get is only 4 digits. Alright, so again, this is a small common sense that you need to know. Okay, alright. Then after that, this is the first restriction. And what's the other restriction here? Another restriction is they want to form actually the odd numbers. Okay, so what is the odd numbers that you can form? Okay, from 5 digits here. All right, so when you look at these two restriction, right, you have to think also which is the restriction that you should try to cover first. So usually we'll try to cover the odd number first. We will try to fulfill the first restriction here first, the odd number. And then the 5 digit, you already write it out, so definitely fulfill already. You just make sure that the first digit is not a 0, will do. Okay, all right. So how can I make it as an odd number? So if you want to have an odd number, that means at the last digit, you can have a certain number only that to be placed in the last digit here, right? Can you place the 2 at the last digit to get the odd number? Cannot. Correct or not? So you can put only the odd value. So what's the odd value that you have from the digits given here? So you can put either a 3 into the last digit, or maybe you can put a 7 into the last digit. Okay, either a 3 or either a 7. Okay, so that means for the last digit here, you can put in either one of the 2 values here. So you can write as 2P1 if you want. If you don't want, then you just write it as 2. Because from these 2 numbers, you can put one of them. So you can have actually 2 permutations here. Okay, so once you are done already, then what should we do next? Okay, let's say assume that you already put the 3 in the last digit. All right, therefore, the 3 is no longer available anymore. Okay, so you left 4 digits only, 2, 6, 7, 8. So for the 2, 6, 7, 8, you can actually arrange them freely here. Okay, so if you want to arrange it digit by digit, then you can write out the first digit. You can have 4 numbers to be placed here. Any one of the 4 numbers. That means you can place either a 2, either a 6, either a 7, either a 8. Okay, either one of them. Okay, so you assume that you already put one number here, you simply cancel out one number. So the next value, you can only have 3. Okay, 3 digits to be chosen and placed. And after that, if you put in another one, then you have 2. Okay, then another one, you have 1. So the total arrangement will be 4 times 3 times 2 times 1 times 2. So eventually, you'll get 48. Alright, so you can see that in this process, I try to actually fill in the last digit so that I can actually form the odd number. Okay, so for the last digit, there's only 2 numbers that is possible for you to put in, which is the 3 or maybe the 7. Alright, okay. So this is how I do it. Okay, and then some students, they say last time when they learn, they might not learn something like this. Okay, so the way that they write out might be different. Okay, so let's say they also start from the last digit to form the odd number. So some students, they will say that I will 2P1. Can or not? Can. It is not wrong because 2P1 is actually a 2. Alright, and then after that, for the 4 numbers, they can arrange freely in front. So you can put actually 4P4. 4P4 means that for the 4 spaces here, you can randomly put in the 4 numbers remaining. Alright, so that's why you write 4P4 also can. So 4P4 multiply with 2P1. You'll get 48 also. Okay, so this is how we actually write it out correctly. So these are the concepts that you should know. Okay, so you will see that for the numbers here, I try to list out the digit by digit, and then I try to think by using common sense how many numbers I can put it in a certain digit at a certain place, and then I multiply the number together, the number of ways together. Okay, all right. So this is part number 1. So sorry, part number 1, they say repetitions are not allowed. So you will see that just now when I put in one number, I will cancel off that particular number. So that's why the number become less and less. Okay, all right. Then if let's say they say repetitions are allowed. So if repetition are allowed, means that the number can be used more than one time. Okay, so for this situation, then how can we do? So again, you need to start from the last digit here. For last digit, you can only put in either a 3 or either a 7. Correct or not? So that means the last digit here, you still have 2. Number of ways equals to 2. Okay, then after you put in the 3 or 7 already, right, you cannot cancel off the 3 or cancel off the 7 because the repetitions are allowed now. Therefore, you still have 5 numbers to be used freely here. Okay, all right, so first digit, how many numbers you can put in? 5. So you have 5. Okay, so after you put in one number, you didn't cancel the number because the number can be repeated for many times. So how about the second digit, also 5? How about the third digit, also 5? So how about the fourth digit, also 5? You still can use any of the 5 numbers here, all right, to fill into the different digit. Okay, so if you multiply this together, then the number of ways that you get is 1250. All right, so you can see that when they ask you to arrange the numbers into a certain digit or certain numbers, it is still belongs to arrangement, which is permutation. Okay, but the way that we are trying now is a bit different because we list out the digit by digit, and then we will try to see how many numbers are available to put it into the digits. Okay, so some students, they say, oh, I cannot see it clearly, so can I just write as 4P4 and 2P1? Still can. But for the repetition case, we still need to list out digit by digit. All right, so I will just tell you that, okay, for numbers 1, usually I will list out like this. I seldom write it out like 4P4 multiplied with 2P1. Because to me, I need to consider every single digit here, okay, according to the question. So if let's say question 1 repetition, then how should I do it? If let's say repetition are not allowed or allowed, then what can I do? All right, so this is the method. Okay, huh? All right. Okay, so let's continue to another example. Okay, so for example 11, so if you read the question, let's say they said, I want to create a 4-digit PIN, and then you can choose any set of 4 digits from 0 until 9, and digits may be repeated. So how many possible 4 digits pins are there? So again, your pin numbers are 4 digits, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, So from 0 until 9, how many numbers are there? There are 10 numbers. So there's no restriction, right? So they said all the digits can be formed from 0 until 9. So first digit, you have 10 possible answer. You can put in 0, you can put in until 9, any number between 0 until 9. Then the second digit also the same, because they said the numbers may be repeated. Okay, then the third one also the same, the fourth one also the same. So when you multiply everything together, then the number of possible pin is 10,000. Okay, all right. Then after that, for part number 2. Okay, so for part number 2, what do we have here? Okay, so Smart Bank require its customer to use a password consists of 4 lowercase letters. So again, it is still a password, so still four digits here. But now instead of numbers, they actually want you to form it by using 4 lowercase letters only. Permutation are allowed. Okay, so how many lowercase letters do we have? So we have 26, right? Okay, so that means the possible password available are 26 multiply with 26 multiply with 26 multiply with 26. So you have 4, 5, 6, 9, 7, 6. Okay, so this is what we have for example 11. So hopefully you know like when they ask you to form the password, form the numbers and so on, usually we'll do it digit by digit. Okay, all right. Then next, let us continue to question number 7. Okay, so for question number 7, we are talking about permutation of R items from N items. Okay, if let's say now you're having more items, like 10, and then you only want to arrange maybe 8 of them, all right, so 8 out of 10 are right. So you're having more items than what you want to arrange. So usually when you have this kind of situation, you are going to use the MPR formula. So that's why in the previous example, sometimes you will see that I write out MPR, MPR, and so on. Okay, all right. So this is the where we use it. So like maybe you're having 4 objects, and you want to arrange all of them. So let's say these 4 objects are different objects. All right. Okay. So when you want to arrange all 4 of them, right? Previously we learned the matrix 4 factorial. If you want to arrange 4 different objects, okay. Or you can also write as 4p4. That means what? That means you are having originally 4 objects, and you want to arrange 4 of them. So that's 4p4. Therefore, the 4 factorial and 4p4 are the same. So that's why some of you maybe will say, last time I didn't learn 4 factorial. It seems I learned 4p4 like that. But actually, they are having the same meaning. Okay? For me personally, I always use the factorial if can, unless you are having more objects and I want to arrange less than that object. So I will use p. Alright, so I just want to let you know 4 factorial and 4p4 are actually the same. And then again, when you want to apply this formula, right, you have to make sure that you're having n distinct items. Then the items here must be all not identical. They must be all not identical, then only you can use the NPR. Okay, alright, so this is another small part that you need to know. When you want to arrange something, then NPR can be used. If let's say you're having n objects, but you want to arrange only R of them. Okay, all right. So again, let's have a look at example 12. Okay, so how many numbers bigger than 30,000 but smaller than 40,000 can be formed from the digit 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8? If no digit is repeated, so no digit is repeated, number must be a multiple of 5. Okay, so if you read through this question, they have a lot of restriction actually. Okay, so what do we have here? You can start to list out 30,000 and 40,000, right? So that means you should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. 5 digits. Okay, and then cannot be repeated. Cannot be repeated. Okay, and then it must be a multiple of 5. And then must be bigger than 30,000 but smaller than 40,000. Okay, when they're asking for bigger than 30,000 but smaller than 40,000, right? Okay, what is the first digit number that I should put in? Can I put in a 2? Cannot. Can I put in a 3? Yes. Then can I put in a 4 or not? Cannot. So you can only put in the 3 at the first digit here. That's why you should put a 1, because there's one number available only for this particular digit. Okay, and then since no digits is repeated, right? Therefore, after you put the 3 in the first digit, you have to cancel it off. All right. Okay, so this one done already lah. Okay, this restriction done already. And then after that, there's another restriction here, a multiple of 5. So a multiple of 5, that means the last digit will affect whether the number is a multiple of 5 or not. Okay, so if let's say you want to make sure that it is a multiple of 5, so what number you should put at the last digit here? It must be a 5, right? Or must be a 0 lah. So since there's no 0 here, therefore when you put in a 5, you can only put in a 5 here, which is also 1. One arrangement only for this digit. So you cancel off the 5 because no digit should be repeated. Okay, so what do you have now? You still have 2, 4, 6, 7, 8. So you still have 5 digits here, 5 numbers here. So that means you can put in the 5 numbers freely at the second digit. So it will be times 5 times 4, then times 3. Because once you put in one number here, you cancel off the number. Then you put in another number at this digit, then you cancel off another number and so on. So when you multiply it, you will get 60. Okay, but if you want to use whatever that you learned just now about the P, also can. Alright, so I write it again here. So the first digit is still a 1 because you must put in the 3. And the last digit you must put in the 1 also because only 5 is can be placed at the last digit here. Okay, so for the center 3 values here, right, you can select, you can arrange any 3 of them from the 5 numbers available. So if you want, you can write it out straight away by using 5p3 lah. That means from the 5 digits here, I only want to arrange 3 of them. So I will write as 5p3. So 5p3, the answer will be same as 5 times 4 times 3. And then eventually you also get 60. Okay, so just want to show you that this method can be used, this also can be used. So this is where I apply the P. So that means you think from that way, you're having 5 digits available and you want to arrange only 3 of them, 3 of the 5 digits. So you write it as 5p3. Okay? Okay, alright, so this is what we have for example 12. Okay, so let's continue to example 13. Alright, so for example 13, they want you to form 4 digits numbers, okay, from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, without repetition. So no numbers can be repeated. So how many numbers can be formed if each number, okay, so you're having the possible restriction here. So first part, they said your number must be less than 5,000. Part number B is begins with digit 6, 4 or 6. And then part C is between 2,000 to 6,000 and so on. Okay, so for this whole question, I will want you to try out on your own. So generally, the method that we are using is still using this one. So 4 digits, right? Okay, so for part A, I list out 4 digits here. They say less than 5,000. So if less than 5,000, what are the numbers that you can put it in the first digit? Okay, so if let's say less than 5,000, you can put in 4, correct or not? You can put in 3, you can put in 2, you can put in 1. Can you put in 0 or not? If you put in 0, then the number that you from is not 4 digits number anymore. So digit 0 shouldn't be included. Alright, so for the first digit here, you are having 4 possible numbers that you can put in. Okay, so which is 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, then now, assume that you simply put in one number already and you cancel off because this number cannot be repeated. Okay, then when you want to arrange the second number, third, and the fourth, right? There's no restriction anymore. You can put in any value from the remaining values here. So you're having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 numbers available, and you want to arrange only 3 of them. So you can take 4 multiply with 6p3, and therefore you get 480. Okay, so if you don't want to use this method, you still can also use the method that I teach you just now. First digit is 4. Second digit, you have 6 numbers to be, you can select one, arrange one of the 6 numbers to put it in here, and then followed by 5, and then followed by 4. You will see that the answer is still the same, which is 480. Okay, so this is what we have. Alright, then after that, for part B, part number B, C, D, E, I think I will just leave it for you to try on your own. I will give you only the final answer. If you cannot get the answer, then maybe we can discuss it later, or maybe you can ask me through Facebook. Alright, but I will want you to actually try it out on your own first to see whether you're able to get the answer or not. Okay? Alright. Then the same thing happened for example 14. Okay, so for example 14, right? Part 1, the answer should be 6930. Part 2 should be 6930 also. Okay, so for example 14 and also example 9, after you know the example 39 and you try out and find out, okay lah, you can get an answer, then I will want you to example 14 and example 9 yourself also. So just like I told you, the example 9 is a bit tough, but you can try first. I will give you the final answer here, which is 14P12 and also 17280. Okay, so please try these two. And then if got any problem or you don't know how to do, then we will discuss it later. Okay, so please try it now first. Right, so this is what I want to cover for the video here. And then generally, we already covered the part for permutation. So you can see that the technique is not hard actually. And then the question that we discussed here is not really hard also. But in exam question, right, they might ask a very complicated one. So just make sure that you try more and then you practice more, okay, to see how you know how to apply the correct method. Okay, so I'll stop here for this video.